All
Okay.
right.
Well, Hilchos Rechilus Klal Vav Sif Hey. Isa Kavos Rechilus. Who I feel me Yishna Mehem like Kishnayim. It's also to be Makabel Rechilus, even if you hear from someone who you believe like two. I think in Hilchos Lashon Hara he said it doesn't exist anymore, but in any case, let's see. He still says it's also a film ein badava hu shum tzad chus. And even if what you're hearing, there's no way of interpreting it as a positive thing. Fahani mili, when is this true? Shein lo mi yitias in hu tells alabo. Again, that's true that it's also being makabel if there's no toyelas. Im yesh lo mizeh tells alabo. If you do have a benefit from it in the future, that this person is telling him that that individual wants to hurt him physically, financially, etc. Well, Ken Yishratzman, and he's saying, so therefore watch yourself, stay away from him. You're allowed to be makabel. Well, see, normally we say by toyelas, you can, even if you hear it, no need to be choches. And you can examine, you can do an investigation. But here he's saying that if you're hearing it from an ish, that's the Mahamad like the Shnayim, to betray. So here, if it's not Latoyelis, you're not allowed to be Makabal it anyways. Doesn't matter who you're hearing it from. But if it is a Toyelis, so here he's saying a Chiddush that since you're hearing it, someone's Mahamad like the Shnayim, you're allowed to believe it. You're allowed to
Mm.
be Makabal it. It says it clearly, you can believe it. But you can't tell others. Basically, even to his family, and who tells Alaba, unless there also there's a Toelis. The family's involved in the business, or whatever. But it's only true if the person that you're relying on says to you, his story is that he heard it personally from that person. So then, if he's Nemoli Kebei you're allowed to believe if there's a Toelis. But if he's saying, I heard this from someone else, so then as much as you believe him that he heard it from someone else, but you don't know if the initial um, information was true, because that's coming secondhand already. So then there's no difference at the very most. You could be choshesh, but there's no way you could believe. He says, and even in a situation where it does help, he knows that person very well. He knows his nature. And that he never lies. And he never exaggerates. And you rely on him to the extent that you believe what he's saying. You always believe him. Whenever he tells you something, it's a fact as far as you're concerned. Because that after two Aiden testify, we consider it true. But if in other things you don't believe him so much, if he would ask you for a big loan, you would ask for cosigners. So you don't
Mm.
believe him so. He says he'll pay, right? Rock was there. But just it seems to me in this case, which is the muscle, I think the Lashon is that you enjoy hearing a little bit. You have a little bit of enjoyment in hearing the Lashon Hara. This Garber ben Afshar Adara, so then you conclude from Amina Kabetray that you believe him like he's two aided. But they also, it's certainly also the Hatarab. Because more so, Coach Yosi Yamin, the more you believe a Yahweh Hadover Shuevitz and decide it's true, Yosi Yakonis Makabal Lashon Hara Chilos. You're being Makabal more Lashon Hara and more Chilos. Now, there was a little footnote on this. Hagor Vidad, I feel he's kapsu, kol chelki aheta shabherin meitray. He says, even if you fulfill all the requirements when it comes to behemin kebetre, ein moyel rakdin hamin ba'atz. It doesn't help just for you to believe it for yourself. Avoid I've seen the moment of course, but you're not allowed to act upon it. You could believe it and you could take steps, whatever, but you
Yeah, what
can't, based on
practical? I
that,
mean, you can take steps if it's to us, even if you
protect
don't
yourself.
believe it. So what's is there a practical difference?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
There is. It could be there is that you wouldn't be have to give him stucca. If he's a Russian. The obligations to another Jew, if you're allowed to believe it, that it's true, and what he's saying and doing it makes him into Russia. So maybe you wouldn't have to. In the other cases, we said besides the chash, you have to treat him. He has a cheskes kashrus, but maybe here it doesn't even do Adam come. I loses cheskes kashrus. But on the other hand, you can't go and actively cause him a loss or hit him. You know, get a bunch of thugs to beat him up because you believe that he's going to get you. Or the Ganoisi Bidvarim Avur or post all kind of signs against him. Face him. The Lavko Kamina Lamanazek Betray because you don't have a right to believe this like betray of the Garbazalacha and cause a different person a different loss. So therefore you're allowed to believe it. But I guess that's the only difference. But you can't go actively, therefore, and do something to the person. Okay, that's 1 minute. Just one more paragraph back in the Sefer. Talmud, this was in the time of the Gemara of a Yoim. But today, if you must eskimu ha based on what the Paiskim conclude, ain't loy lodem loy mar, to play man with a bake trade. Let me check. There's no such thing anymore. That a person could say, I believe this guy like two, and he doesn't lie. The Paiskim say, today we don't have such a heter. Again, also a couple of and so again, back to square one. You can't be makabel what he's saying. You can only be choshesh. Says that in any case, it's not common. That all the tzrayim that we had in Sif Hey and Sif Vav are going to be fulfilled. Mizet Tira says all the time. So you see, Kama Anoshim Toyim Binyan say how people make a mistake. And this harm used to see Lashon Akilas with Kabbalosim. They are careful. They don't speak Lashon Hara. They're not Makabal Lashon Hara Akilas. When they hear it from others. But when they hear it from their parents, their wives, right there, they already believe it. Because they assume they for sure. Father's not going to lie to you. Your wife's not going to lie to you. So it's never can betray. Vizohi tos kabura, and that's a mistake. There's no difference right now. Like Aleph, Klal Chesed, Yudal, Kamon, Klal Zayin. Some of the things he had said before was you have to make sure that it can't be interpreted in two ways. What you're hearing, even if it's true, what happened, but maybe, or maybe it was b'shoigig. Maybe you don't know the whole story. Okay, so now that's what we're up to here. And now let's learn Shmiras haLashon. So yeah, last time, Thursday, he started discussing Bitachon. And he had said, he had quoted a Yerushalmi that said, someone was learning and there was an opportunity to make a good business deal. And he said, no, now it's my Seder. I'm not mavatal it at all, right? So he brought over here the carbon ha'eda. But I'm not willing to mavatal my Seder in order to make a profit.
Mhm.
In Rosh Yovali, Revach, if I'm meant to have a profit, Yovahu Me'atzman Kodesh Baruch Hu. It'll come from a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Af la'achashen. I work Kriyas Lamudi even after I finish my learning. That's part of the Bitochen. Says the Chofetz Chaim, he says, when you think about it, this is mamash a logical thing. How could it be? Doesn't make sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yigrem in ha'adam mizoyneh, that a person will have a loss. The Kavalei Rosh Hashanah was said on Rosh Hashanah, Avu shel yirotz levatas mana kavulei l'Torah, because he didn't want to be mevatel his seder and learning. Is it possible that he's going to lose something he was supposed to get? Doesn't make sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu would do that. And even if it looks like that he had a potential profit and he didn't make it because he didn't go to the shuk, let's say. He was learning. He shouldn't be worried, he should be concerned. And he should be assured, he should know that by the end of this year, the creed how much you're supposed to have. If you were supposed to have it, you're going to get it. Certainly Hashem will pay him whatever he was supposed to get. And the extra hishtadlus, and he's defining that one of the extra hishtadlus is to be mavato you're learning, won't help at all. You're not going to get more than what you were supposed to get. By transgressing the Ritzayin Hashem, Yifras Ha'es HaKavul Divrei Torah, and not go learn Torah, okay, right? And the same thing is true. You're not going to lose if you give your money to tzedakah, right? If that's a mitzvah and Hashem told you to do it, it's not possible that you would lose out for doing the mitzvah. He says, unless you turn out someone who doesn't believe in Hashem, that Hashem does cause a person to, he destroys him, causes him to lose. But anyone else, there's no way that he would lose out for doing Ritzayin Hashem, lose out what was decreed for him originally. Okay. Atkan. End of recording.